If you've spent any time in the health world, you've heard the term, just eat clean.
Today I want to chat with you all about eating clean.
Started clean eating
and do a clean shopping haul guide.
Today I'm sharing the nutrition basics, what you need to know to eat clean.
I'm Chef, and today I'd like to talk to you about clean eating. 21-day clean eating meal plan.
Looking forward to beginning your clean eating journey?
No sugar, no processed foods, no chemicals, just clean eating. But here's the question that nobody ever seems to ask. What does clean eating actually mean? And does it even fix the things that make people unhealthy? Now, over the last couple of years, I've had a natural 110-pound weight loss. I've gotten into the best shape of my life. I've ran 2 marathons, currently training for my 3rd. I'm in the middle of getting my accreditation to become a nutrition coach. And during that time, one of the things that I've learned is most bad health outcomes don't come from eating the wrong foods, or as a lot of influencers want to fearmonger you into believing that they're coming from toxic foods. It comes from something much bigger and probably even simpler. So let's start right here. Clean eating is not a scientific term. There's no medical definition, no clinical criteria, no research category called clean foods. I actually reached out to one of my running friends who is a doctoral degree pharmacist, just to hear what she said. What does clean eating mean to you?
I use that word a lot, actually, eating clean. It really just means like I want to eat a reasonable amount of calories a day with a lot of fiber and protein, but not going to excess and not getting those calories from like fast food restaurants and stuff. To me, like processed food is like chips or McDonald's.
Okay.
Like Egg McMuffins or something like that.
And honestly, ask 10 people what clean eating means, and you're gonna get 10 different answers. Whole foods only, nothing processed, no fast foods, no sugar, ingredients I can pronounce, natural, carnivore, fruitarian. Right there, that should be a red flag. Because in nutrition science, food is not evaluated by vibes or personal preference. It's evaluated by outcomes. Instead of asking, is food clean? The better question is, what actually causes poor health outcomes in the first place? When researchers look at the biggest drivers of chronic disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, metabolic dysfunction, they don't point to a single food. Typically, they point to patterns over time. The biggest one is chronic energy imbalance, which essentially means you're constantly eating more calories than your body needs. Not once, not on an occasion, but for years consistently. That leads to weight gain, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and elevated lipids. And from there, it's the usual suspects. The next big one, low physical activity. You can eat clean and still be sedentary. And movement matters independently of diet. Improves insulin sensitivity, lowers cardiovascular risks, reduces all-cause mortality. Then there's sleep, which is wildly underrated. This is the one that's been the fad lately with a lot of sleep trackers. Because poor sleep increases hunger hormones, worsens blood sugar control, elevates cortisol. Just like you can't out-work out a bad diet, you can't out-eat bad sleep. So you can eat incredibly healthy, but if you're getting crappy sleep, you're still going to be in bad shape. Add chronic stress, and suddenly food becomes emotional, reactive, and inconsistent. And none of this is solved by swapping white rice for quinoa or skipping the cookie every now and then. So I've talked about this a little bit before, but why is processed the wrong enemy? Before I dive into this, let me tell you a little bit about today's sponsor. I've been using Hungry Root for a couple of years, and I will never go back. It truly simplifies my life. Monica and I are both incredibly busy. Between our jobs, training to run marathons, being a creator, Hungry Root has been a game changer. Hungry Root plans all my meals and groceries for the week. They fill my cart and deliver everything that I need to eat healthy every day, all while fitting my healthy goals, dietary preferences, and budget. And if it's your New Year's resolution to start fresh with healthy eating, Hungry Root makes it incredibly easy to get going and actually stick with it. With over 50,000 recipes to choose from each week, there's something for everybody. They have great options for the whole family, with healthy groceries like smoothies, kid snacks, sweets, ready-to-eat meals, salad kits, and even supplements. And I love that Hungry Root holds all of its foods to high standards, screening out over 200 additives, including high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, and preservatives. You can get good quality snacks with protein and fiber, and know they're gonna taste good. I love these. Oh my gosh, these are so good. jam snack. So gang, you're gonna love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Click the link below or go to hungryroot.com and use code SAUCE. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life over at hungryroot.com and use code SAUCE. Hungry Root, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for always sending me these incredible groceries. Okay, we're back. One of the pillars of clean eating culture is the idea that processed food automatically equals unhealthy. But that logic falls apart almost instantly because processing is a spectrum, not a verdict. I've explained this before. Washing food, cutting, freezing, cooking, that's all processing. If you do it on an industrial scale, it probably looks very scary, but it's still the same, just happening quicker, faster than what you're gonna do at home. It's all processed. Frozen vegetables are often more nutritious than fresh vegetables who have been in transit for days. Rolled oats and steel-cut oats, nutritionally almost identical. Canned beans, one of my favorites, still loaded with fiber, protein, and minerals. Processing doesn't determine health. Outcomes do. And here's where clean eating really starts to mislead people. Let's talk about some classic swaps I found online. Coconut sugar versus white sugar. Same calories, same blood glucose response, trace minerals that don't meaningfully impact health. Cold-pressed oils versus refined oils. Refining often removes oxidation byproducts and raises smoke points. Almond flour baked goods versus wheat flour. Usually almond flour is higher calories and lower protein quality, and it's often missing the fortified micronutrients that come with whole wheat flour. Now, what about the clean snack bars versus conventional protein bars? Often identical in sugars, usually worse protein quality, and typically the clean bar has better marketing. Clean labels don't equal better physiology. If we zoom out, what changed my life was not focusing on what the influencers said and just realizing it's so much simpler. It's boring and effective. You will lose weight, you will feel better, and you'll be able to move more. Get adequate protein, sufficient fiber, enough micronutrients, reasonable calorie intake, regular movement, good sleep, and manageable stress. That's it. No moral hierarchy of foods, and specifically just talking about what's good or bad for health. I know people have personal morals, and that is a different subject. No detox. So sick of that word. And no purity tests. We're still looking into that, so that one might be a little bit more in the end, but it might not have as much meaningful effect in the short term. You're going to become much more healthy if you just focus on the small things. It's kind of like earlier this year when RFK and the MAHA movement was able to remove red dye from snack foods and junk foods. And people were celebrating like this was going to change everything. And I just had this belief where it's really not going to affect our health all that much because a majority of our health comes from the fact that people are not moving enough and they're eating too much. And really, if you remove red dye from Skittles, people are still eating Skittles in the end. I mean, even if you were just to eat a bag of white Skittles, you've just ate a bag of pure sugar. And again, sugar's not the problem, but if you were to do that consistently, it doesn't matter about the dye. The worst part is still there. So thinking about the healthy part, eating healthier foods, and still enjoying the Skittle from time to time, the dye won't matter. Does that make sense? And this is the part that I think people never want to hear when people ask me about how I lost weight. And I just say it was, it's simple, just, it's pretty much just diet and exercise and not diet as far as, be on this caloric load and find out exactly when I'm going to lose the weight. Like, how do I lose it as quick as possible? And how do I get as healthy as quick as possible? But when you think about it, in the ability to sustain what you're doing for the rest of your life, the changes that you're going to make, the small, tiny changes that you make can change everything. Taking these big sweeping steps to remove entire groups of foods because they're not clean is not sustainable. And honestly, it's not going to make the biggest difference in the end. Most people don't get unhealthy because they ate pasta, sugar, or processed foods. They get unhealthy because of years of excess calories, low movement, poor sleep, chronic stress, and environments that make that all so much harder. But clean eating doesn't fix any of that. So maybe instead of asking, is this food clean? We ask if this food helps us live well. And can I do this again tomorrow? I think that's real nutrition.